We are finally here. I tell you what, we drove over 500 kilometers of nasty logging roads to get here, but later this afternoon we finally arrived, Finley River Outfitters, and we are here to try and kill a giant Canadian moose. Northern BC, Jordy and the crew, they're loading up some horses. We're gonna get everything packed tonight. First thing in the morning, we're gonna jump on the horses and we're gonna ride back into the river, or back into the mountains, and into an area that apparently hasn't been touched in a few years, and there's some good moose kicking around. So I beat the living crap out of this gun on the last hunt, and first thing I want to do is make sure that it's not bumped. So we're going to throw some shots down range, make sure the vortex scope is still on, and make sure we're good to go, because I tell you what, some of the moose they're killing up here, I don't want to blow that opportunity by not making sure my rifle's on. So we're going to take a couple shots, and then I think we're also going to throw a couple arrows through the bow, but let's see how she shoots. It is bang on. I noticed my turret was 1 inch off, moved it back into center, and I'm right where I need to be. But it's good to know we're rock solid, ready to go, and we'll throw her in the case and get her on the horse for tomorrow morning. Weather looks decent, the sun's starting to peek through. We're unloading the ponies and get everything rigged up, saddled up, and sounds like we got about a 3-4 hour ride in. And depending on how many trees fell, we had a brutal windstorm the last couple weeks here, so clear some trail, get in there, and I'm pretty excited. It sounds like it's a pretty good moose area, and we're gonna try and get on a big old bull, so it's always an adventure. Looking forward to it. Well, I guess this is home. Talk about a beautiful place. Cool little half cabin. We'll throw some tarps and a couple tents in there, and we rode through some beautiful country. There was for sure one fresh bull moose track on the way in, just about 2 crossings over. So not sure what the plan is. I think Maddie might get camp kind of squared away. We might even get a hunt in tonight. It's still fairly early. We made good time. They got the trail nice and clean, so there's no problem getting in. And well, yeah, kind of get everything organized and squared up and start hunting, I guess. Pretty though, real pretty.
Fatal Impact is proudly sponsored by Covert Scouting Cameras, Vortex Optics, Old Smokes Coffee, Top Notch Taxidermy Studio, and the MD of Bonnyville.
This segment of the show is brought to you by the MD of Bonnyville. Lake adventures happen here.
After riding into camp and getting settled for the week, we had just enough daylight to head downstream a few miles into a local meadow and do some calling. The name of the game on this trip was to work the riverbanks, stopping to call as we went. The bush was crazy thick, and visibility was super low, meaning we either had to get a bull worked up and call him in close for a shot, or get lucky and spot one in a meadow or along the river.
This is the same spot we had a bull going. I guess it'd be 2 or 3 nights ago. Never did show himself, but different conditions, nice and sunny, rained all night. So we're gonna work our way slowly and see if we can maybe stir something up. And I guess we're gonna go up to a lookout and park up there and watch for the afternoon and just try to get eyes on something. We heard them walking. We were actually going back to the horses to get them to go to the next spot. And Joseph and I both picked up a smell of a bull moose. And so we let out some calls. And then shortly after there was a cow moaning, being harassed by a bull, and then one bull grunt. So we've kind of worked our way in. I think we're within 100 yards. We heard them walking in some water, but this wind is swirling, it's all over the place. It's middle of the afternoon. Doesn't sound like they're too worked up. I know a lot of times if you call the bull, it kind of reminds him, and he stands up and goes over and checks out his lady friend. And then she gets mad, but I kind of feel like that's what's happening here. I don't know if we should keep pushing in. I don't think he's gonna leave that cow.
Fatal Impact is proudly sponsored by Wood Wheaton Super Center, True Fire Releases, Victory Archery, Black Widow Innovations, Wapiti River Outdoors, and Federal Premium Ammunition.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Wood Wheaton Super Center, a proud supporter of our outdoor heritage.
This would be a recurring theme for us over the next few days, as we would spend a ton of time in some of the greatest moose country I've ever laid eyes on. Throughout the hunt, we would get answers from several bulls within a couple 100 yards, but weren't able to get them worked up enough to come check us out. From what I could gather, almost all of the big bulls were cowed up and holding tight in thick cover, and convincing them to leave their lady friends was next to impossible. After spending 3 days up and down the river, calling and glassing as much as possible, we had still yet to see a single moose. On the 4th day, we decided that we needed to get up high and try to cover some ground with our eyes where we could see. We spent the afternoon overlooking a bend in the river with some muskeg meadows alongside it when our guide hunter finally spotted our first moose. It was a young bull following a cow through the muskeg below, stopping to feed on the willows as they went. Obviously, he wasn't the kind of bull we were looking for on this particular hunt, and we spent the rest of the afternoon waiting to see if a larger one would follow. As the sun started to sink from the sky, we worked our way back to camp once again. There was no doubt that this area was polluted with moose, as the amount of fresh sign we would see throughout the day was incredible. But I guess that's the part about moose hunting that has always kicked my butt. In the end, it all comes down to a little bit of luck.
Yesterday when we were at the lookout there, we got bored and Maddie actually went and found himself a big birch tree and peeled off a big chunk of birch. It was pretty stiff, and so we actually brought it and put it in the river overnight, and this morning it's kind of loosened up a little bit, and we're gonna roll it in and we're gonna make a birch bark call. I've always wanted one. I seen Maddie was kind of messing around with it, and I think we're gonna make an official one here. So I don't know if there's any special way to do it. I think you just pretty much roll it up, make it so that the mouthpiece is the right size, and I'm assuming, I mean, a guy could tape it, but I think we're gonna try and stitch this one up if we can. Get it stitched, and yeah, I don't know, a little bit of arts and crafts anyways this morning while we wait for Hunter to go and get the horses. That'll probably work, I guess. There it is, the last one. Turned out pretty good, actually. Stitched all the way up there. There, it should hold it together. It's gonna shrink a little bit as it dries, but I think there's only one thing left. We're gonna have to try and find, I'm assuming Hunter and Matt don't have a Sharpie with them, so we're gonna try and see if we can find a piece of wire or maybe a nail, bend a nail, and heat it up, and maybe we're gonna try and wood burn it. Either put my name on it or something, because I feel like I'm gonna use this for a while. So this is gonna be my official moose call. So we'll try and find something to heat up and burn into it, and hopefully not set it on fire and burn the whole thing to the ground, because that took us a little while. That's her. That turned out awesome. That's my very first birch bark moose call. Maybe this will be change of luck for us, so fingers crossed. Cool little arts and crafts anyways. Now I just hope it works. We had some luck yesterday. We got onto a smaller bull, but he was cowed up and it wasn't really something we were looking for, but it was nice to finally see one. Crazy amounts of sign and beautiful country. We're right down here along the river, so it gets chilly at night, but we're hoping that this morning's the one. Once Hunter gets back, Maddie's just cooking up some breakfast. Hunter's gonna get back with the horses, we're gonna saddle them up and we're gonna hit the trail, and I don't know if we're planning on going upriver or downriver again, but it doesn't seem to matter. There's moose both ways, so it's just a matter of stumbling them. The name of the game, I always say it, moose hunting is a tough, cruel animal, but when you get them, it sure pays off, so we're gonna keep grinding away. We've got 3-4 days left, so fingers crossed that the weather holds out and maybe we'll find ourselves a big old bull.
With the horses giving us problems in the morning, we got off to a late start by the time we got saddled up and riding. We worked our way upstream slowly, stopping to call as we went. We knew there was a good bull in this area based off of the sign we were finding, and we were going to spend as much time in his bedroom as needed until we found him. As luck would have it, we rode the horses around the corner of the river that morning, and there he was.
Yeah, I'm on. Yeah.
Fatal Impact is proudly sponsored by Mad Ramps, Scree Gear, High Mountain Seasonings, Block Targets, iHunter, Glendale Targets, and Deluxe Wall Tents. This segment of Fatal Impact is brought to you by Tourism Saskatchewan.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Deluxe Wall Tents, built in Canada for Canadian conditions.
Yeah, I'm on. Yeah. Hit him again. One more.
a good bull. Yes!
We did it! Oh man, we got him. We've been riding the horses down across the river, and we literally come across the river, and Hunter poked his head out and there was a bull moose standing there. We bailed off the horses, grabbed the rifle. There was no time to get anything. What was that, 80 yards, 100 yards maybe? And he was standing there looking at the horses all kinds of time, dropped my back, loaded around in there, and we thumped them. Early morning, beautiful frost. We knew leaving camp this morning that it was going to be a good morning. Hard frost. It was cold. I was freezing coming in here. We had to walk over that hill just to warm up. Oh, we have been hunting so hard. This is what, day 6 probably back here. We rode into an area. I've never seen moose sign like this before in my life. And we finally got one. We knew upriver was the ticket, and it worked. I was scared I was gonna get stepped on by that horse when I shot. And Strawberry jumped, and I was like, ooh. Oh, that couldn't have worked out better. Thanks again, Hunter. It's been good. Good shot. The first shot was good, and I just, with a moose, especially up here where he was at, I mean, we didn't want him to get up into the swamp, so I just kept feeding it into him, and those were all good shots, I think, so.
Looked good to me. I come around the corner, and the first thing I seen was antler point sticking out past that tree. I thought, oh, here we go. Come around the corner, and there's a great big bull standing there. 4 horses standing there looking at him, and he's just looking at us. Takes a squat, takes a piss, thinks we're cows. He's getting ready. Didn't even have to cow call him. He just stood there and looked at us. Then Dana put the rounds in him, and he was down.
He was down. Oh, man. Look, you got second paddle, looks like it's growing off. Zoom in on that real quick. Dark orange. Big body.
Old bull.
Oh, that's not a young bull. Rubbed on. Yeah.
At the point.
Crazy.
Cool. I don't know. We're gonna have to try and spin him out of here, I guess. I don't know. Get him set. Get a look at him. That's cool, though. Okay, I'm gonna set this rifle down. Dump the pack.
Nice, congratulations,
That's
Dana.
awesome. Thanks a lot, Matt. Thanks, Hunter.
Good shot.
It's been a blast. I tell you what, one of the funnest hunts we've had. Great guys in camp. And the hunting has been tough. We knew coming in here we were a little bit late. You know, it's what, the 11th? Is it Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving bull.
Yeah.
We knew there was a good bull in here somewhere. The amount of sign was everywhere. And we just had to keep putting in our time. We went downriver a few days, seen a small bull and a cow there. And then we knew if we came upriver, eventually it would pay off. And we got ourselves a sweet looking character bull. He's wide. I don't know if he's 40 or 50. He's got sweet character, big paddles on him, nice fronts on this side.
Oh, he's got to be 50.
He's got to be 50. And just character. He's an old bull. I mean, this is what you come up here to hunt. But I couldn't be happier. Thanks again, guys. This has been an unreal trip. You know, you jump on horses and you ride 4 hours back into the mountains. You never know what you're going to find. And this is exactly what you come for.
Been fighting quite a bit. He's busted his points off.
Well, I mean, the amount of rubbed willows on the shore, it's insane. Like, we knew eventually there's got to be a good bull in here. Every second bush is smashed and the willows are all trashed. And I think if a guy was here a week and a half ago, this place would have been just an absolute zoo. I think there'd
Just
have been,
alive.
Yeah, it would have just been crawling with moose. And if you'd have dared to rake a willow with a shoulder blade, I think you'd have got run over. So
Yeah, the most moose sign I've ever seen in
Yeah.
such a small area.
they're everywhere. Well, they seemed like they were everywhere. We weren't seeing them, but it's a problem. Like, it's such thick country and you're limited on what you can see. So if they're not going to call, you basically have to come around the corner and surprise them. It's not how we wanted it to go down, but you know, I'd have loved to get in tight, have them calling, grunting, and shoot them with the bow. But sometimes it is, you just take it how it comes, and you know, you're not going to pass this bull anytime in the hunt. This is the first day bull, never mind the last day bull. So